Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today I thought I would do a curriculum check-in for our 2020-2021 homeschool year. I did some curriculum videos at the beginning of the year, and I thought I'd just check in and let you know which curriculums we have liked and if there's anything that we have changed. So I have my two kids, 4th and 6th grade, and also my nephew is joining us for some subjects in 7th grade. So I'm just going to go through subject by subject and let you know what we've been using and how we like it or if we've made any changes to it. So the first curriculum that we've been using for Bible is More Than Words 2, and this is from Master Books. And I don't have a book to show you because I take them all apart and just give my kids the pages week by week. I do like the Master Books More Than Words curriculum for Bible, but in this level, in level 2, there's a section on each page that's like the missions, which is you're supposed to have a spy kit. And I thought that would be really fun, but it turns out that we usually don't get around to doing those, so most of the time we skip that. But the rest of the Bible curriculum we do enjoy. My kids can do most of it on their own, so they can do it fairly independently, and we have liked that. But there are only 2 levels of that, so next year I'm not sure what we'll be doing for Bible, since the 3rd and 4th levels that I'm not sure if they are still making those. Our next subject is math. My 2 kids are doing math lessons for living education. They're in levels 4 and 6. And they really like this math curriculum. My son did not like several different math curriculums that we tried when he was younger. We found math lessons for living education, I think, when he started in about level 3 or maybe 2. And since then, math has gone so much better with him. So we will probably use it for my daughter through level 6 also. She likes it too. But level 6 is the last level, so next year we will be having to move on to something else for my son. For science, we did God's Design, Heaven and Earth, which is also from Master Books. We had already done the Water and Weather unit last year. So we just finished out the universe and planet Earth, and we do like this. I really like the information in this book. The worksheets are okay, and we don't get around to doing very many of the experiments, but I do really like the information in these books. So now that we finished this early, since we were only doing 2 sections of it, we have moved on to try out Master Books Awesome Science. So it's Awesome Science Historical Geology, and it comes with a DVD, and it has episodes about all the different national parks, which so far we have enjoyed watching the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone videos. And this is the teacher's guide that has worksheets that go along with that. And then it also came with guides to the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone. We did find, going through the worksheets for the Grand Canyon one, that we really like the videos kind of better, and this I think will be great though if you could actually take a trip to the Grand Canyon, or just for your kids to read through on their own if they were interested in that. Because this is a little bit higher level, instead of including my younger daughter in that, right now she is just doing some complete book of animals. I know it's a little bit low level for her, but we're just doing that for the time being until we decide what we want to use for her in the future. My son, he's doing this right now, next year we will be moving on to a different science because he is going to take a class with another homeschool mom locally so that he can do the labs and experiments there with other kids. And so we're going to, so We will hopefully, though, continue at least watching all the videos of the Awesome Science, even if we don't finish all of the worksheets, because we really enjoy those. So moving on to history and geography. Both my kids did the Master Books Elementary Geography and Cultures, with my nephew included. We did do the worksheets, but I kind of rearranged it to where we actually, because it came with 2 different books, Passport to the World and Children's Atlas of God, I think. So I actually did by continent, using both books instead of one book one semester going through the continents and one book the next semester. So we just did them all together, and that kind of made us move through it more quickly. We did skip all the recipes, which I know is a big part that many people really enjoy in that curriculum, but I have some picky eaters, and so I think a lot of it would have been a waste. So we just did the readings and the worksheets, and then we watched a lot of YouTube videos on the different countries or cultures, or sometimes documentaries if we found them. Disney Plus actually has a lot of great documentaries from National Geographic, and a lot of great documentaries like Europe from Above, so you could go through the different countries there, and we really enjoyed those. So for history, my daughter started in a different history. This is first year. I kind of split her up from my son, and so she started out doing Elementary World History You Report from Master Books. She liked, some of the readings in the timeline, but we never really did the reports because she is not quite there yet in her writing. But I had found knotgrass. I had seen a lot about it coming up whenever I was researching stuff, and the new stuff coming out was the R50 States curriculum, and it looked really good. So I went ahead and ordered it. So it came a little bit late because it didn't come until September, and then we started this, and she really likes this. So we ended up putting the Elementary World History aside and just doing the R50 States from Knotgrass for her. It also came with books to read, literature books, and we really enjoyed all of those. We've actually already finished all the literature books, even though we're not quite done with the book. You can see how far we are. So we just went ahead and read those as our read-alouds. We didn't follow the chapters on each lesson necessarily, because we would read through the weekend and just keep reading the books and finish them. So we really like that, but they don't really have their next, their middle school levels for her going into 5th grade next year would be like America the Beautiful, which looks really good, but I feel like she's done a lot of American history, so we're not really sure what we're going to go with next year, but she is really enjoying this R50 States, and we would definitely recommend that one. So for the boys in 6th and 7th grade, we have been doing The World's Story, The Ancients from Master Books. And I do love this book. I really love all the pictures in it. And I love the information. I love that it has a biblical worldview. But I do feel like it's not quite as in-depth maybe as we would like on some things. There's definitely things that my son would be much more interested in spending more time in studying that culture versus just very lightly touching the culture while going more deeply into the Bible. So we are considering some different options for history after we finish this. We are almost done with it. We'll finish it in a couple of weeks because I also move it up to where we do like a chapter a week as opposed to spreading the chapter out into 2 weeks over more days like it does in the teacher's schedule or student schedule, whichever you want to use it as. For the worksheets, they have a hard time sometimes with some of the questions on the worksheets. They do like the things that require drawing, and I did order the timeline supplement that goes with this, and one of the things that's frustrated them kind of is like the timeline in the book doesn't go chronologically necessarily because it goes by area. So a lot of times on their timeline, when they went to a later chapter and tried to put those timeline figures on their timeline, there wasn't room for it because they had already, put stuff too close together because they didn't know they were going to have to go back and add something in. And because we don't really have wall space to do that, we just did it on paper that I taped together. So there wasn't a lot of room to fix that. But I do really like the information in this book. I just would like to be able to expand on it a little bit more, would like to have more stuff to go with it. But so we're going to finish this early. I talked to my nephew to see what kind of things he was actually really interested in studying, and he said World War II. So coming back after spring break, we are going to just kind of do a unit on World War II. I found the Time Travelers, America in World War II. This was from Homeschool in the Woods, and it's like very hands-on, so it's got like a lot of projects and things to do with it. This is just the information for the lessons, what I would read, and then it tells me what projects are in each lesson. So I just printed that off and had it bound, but I haven't finished getting all of the other information ready yet. But we will probably try to do a video on this after we've done it to let you know how we liked it and whether or not the kids really enjoyed this. We've also been doing Spanish this year, and I took a long time to decide what kind of Spanish curriculum we were going to use. And I finally decided on the Spanish for You, Mi Vida, to try this. It comes with this textbook, and then the majority of everything is on the computer, and you download it and print it, and it has some audio and things like that. I do have some kind of mixed feelings. My kids started out enjoying the Spanish, and then it kind of got to the point where not so much. Part of it is, partly my fault because we did have, or we still do, have a foster baby this year. So a lot of the hands-on activities kind of got pushed aside. So playing a lot of the games, because it has a lot of games recommended, we didn't get around to doing that as often as we hoped. So they enjoyed the game part. They did not particularly enjoy the worksheets. I liked some of it okay, and other parts I wasn't a huge fan of either. I think that we will probably look into some other options for Spanish and probably not continue this. I'll probably try to do a video on it to go more into depth into what we liked and didn't like about this curriculum. And our last subject is language arts. We used a couple of different things for language arts. My kids in 4th and 6th grade both used language lessons for living education. Again, level 6 is the last level in that. But my daughter enjoys this curriculum and said she wants to continue using it. So we'll probably continue that with her next year. It makes it fairly independent. My son has been really independent with his in level 6 because his comes with a different Bible book. His comes with a 10-minute Bible journey, and he can read that and do everything on his own. With my daughter, one day I read the beginning story with her, and then I read the Bible story with her on another day, but most of the rest of it is pretty independent. The one thing is I'm not a super big fan of their spelling. I do go ahead and have my kids do the spelling pages just as kind of a reinforcement, but I'm not good at remembering every day to make them do activities with those spelling words. So this year we have tried spelling you see. My older ones have done level F, which kind of goes along with their ancient history. So I love that along with the spelling, they are getting more information from that ancient history, little tidbits and facts that they enjoy learning, my son especially. He doesn't necessarily like the highlighting part. He kind of gets tired of doing that. But he's actually done really well with the spelling. So I probably will not make my son do spelling next year. I think we'll just move on to doing some vocabulary and not the spelling. My daughter, on the other hand, she's doing level C, and she her spelling has improved. My son didn't need as much help. She's needed quite a bit of help with spelling, and her spelling has definitely improved with this. So I believe that I will continue with her on into level D. I also try to do another writing curriculum because the writing in master books is not a lot. It's very light, which is good for some students. My son's had a couple of years of IEW writing, so he's definitely prepared for more writing. So we are using Write Shop. He is doing the junior level F in the Write Shop along with my nephew. There are definitely things I like and dislike about this one. It can be very teacher intensive if you follow it by the guide. I actually have them do a lot of stuff on their own. A lot of the guided writing practice we don't do because it does not work very well with my son and my nephew together. So I just have them do their own, like, kind of practice writing on their own, not as something that they have to like edit or correct, just to practice. They do struggle a little bit sometimes staying on like the topic of whatever. Like there was a historical fiction project, and then has some different things, which I know they definitely need to learn how to write about, but they do much better with like the adventure or being able to write their own stories. They like to write science fiction. So sticking to something like writing a personal narrative or the persuasive letter or things like that, they struggle a little bit more with that. But overall, I think it's a good writing curriculum, especially if you can do more one-on-one. My daughter, we've been attempting to do the primary level C with her. She struggles more with writing. But we have not gotten nearly as far because, again, it requires a lot of one-on-one, and with trying to get the boys through all of their writing, and then with the baby, trying to get to her and getting her to do writing, it takes a lot more. So we haven't gotten as far in that as I had hoped. Next year, my younger one will probably be doing an IEW writing class with another homeschool mom. I do find I do not like grading writing papers, so that's definitely a subject that I do like to outsource sometimes when I can. Other than that, my nephew, so because he wasn't doing language lessons, we tried Growing with Grammar for him to do this grammar program. He did most of the first semester, but he really didn't like it. It was just, this is the manual that tells you what each things are, and then it comes with student work pages, which is, just a lot of worksheets every day, and he did not like that very well. So we decided after Christmas we started Fix It Grammar with him. He's still not a huge fan, but he likes this a lot better than Growing with Grammar because it's very quick, just editing one sentence a day and then rewriting it. And so he likes that better than the Growing with Grammar. But in general, he doesn't like grammar at all. So that is everything that we've been using this year for our curriculum. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have been interested in any of these curriculum, if you have any questions, please leave them below, and I'll be glad to answer if I can. Thanks for watching.